Welcome once again here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. It's Bethel University Men's Basketball Media Day, 2425. I'm Paul County, President and founder of Regional Radio Sports, Andrew Hedrick, and the big fella, Big James Anderson, with me here today. We're glad to have these guys here and excited about watching them get after it this season here inside the Gates Gymnasium, and let's just get to it. James, first of all, I know that the most noticeable difference for you and seeing you around campus is your dedication to lose a couple pounds. You've lost a half a person, man. You're looking great. So talk about the dedication and the willpower, because I mean, let's face it, you're in a situation right now. Hey, food's good, man. I'm good with that. I know what that's like, man. I'm down 60, and I know what you've done. You've lost got at least 100 pounds, man.
Yeah, Coach Draven's done a real good job of just helping me stay disciplined and staying on track. And then to go along with that, all the other coaches have done the exact same thing. Just whatever I need help with, say if it's just a different aspect of the nutrition side of things, or if like, what goes good with this meal, or like what macros would finish off this meal, and just stuff like that, like little stuff you don't pay attention to, like counting calories isn't the funnest thing to do, but it pays off in the end of the day, knowing how much you're putting in your body and just knowing what you're putting in your body. And once I just stopped putting crap in my body, that's when I started feeling better, looking better, playing better. So
I get it, and I'm good for you that you're doing it at a younger age. I tell you what's even more difficult to do the older you get, when you get used to that lifestyle of your. I know for me it's been crazy. You have a game and it's like, okay, I haven't had dinner yet, so you're eating at dinner at 10:30. I mean, it wreaks havoc on you, and the older you get, it's even worse. Let's just talk about the transfer coming over from St. Francis and getting settled in here at Bethel. I know that's your role with a very, very talented front line. A year ago, you had a chance. We saw some amazing spots for you, but we also saw some spots along the way that, hey, you need to grow up a little bit. And I think that every athlete goes through those kind of things. So talk about the decision to come from USF over here and then settling in and being a part of the Bethel program.
For me, actually, it wasn't a hard choice at all, because over at St. Francis, I had actually quit basketball. Okay. I had grown to dislike it that much that I just wanted to be done with basketball as a whole. And it actually turned out I would just like go play in open gyms and stuff like that with like people from like Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan, and they would just be like, why aren't you playing college ball anyway?
Yeah.
And it actually worked out. I was at an AAU tournament coaching, and Coach Draven actually saw me there. He's like, are you playing anywhere? And I was like, no, I'm just coaching, still in school. And he's like, well, why don't you come up for a visit? And visit it. It was really just a breath of fresh air, and Bethel was something that I needed at that point in life. Really helped me grow, mature, and also get in touch with the faith side of things, and just really grow and get that relationship with God. And like I said, it was a no-brainer. It was a second chance to get my degree, and also a second chance to get closer with God with a bunch of great guys. So,
Andrew Hedrick also joining us. He played for my buddy Matt Schaus out of Columbia City, one of the all-time Bethel greats. It's certainly, I want to start right there, having had a chance to play for Matty. Matty was one of the toughest, hardworking guys I've ever seen, from the time he was at Centerville High School to where he's at right now, still coaching up there. What's it like playing for a true Bethel legend?
Yeah, no, it was great. He impacted my life probably, more than almost anyone. So just being able to learn under him, learn under a guy who, obviously knows the Crossroads League and the ins and outs of it, and he can still play a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
He played in the alumni game this weekend, and he would always play open gym with us still. So just learning from him was great, and obviously a connection to Bethel. So really, really appreciative of him.
Guys, I'm going to talk about something that Jameer Jefferson told me in one of our previous segments. And James, let me start with you. He said the culture and the just the way everybody feels about everybody here is. He said something to the effect that it's the best of any team he's ever been around. And you kind of skimmed over that a little bit, James. Can you speak to the culture? Because Coach Draven has firmly worked on creating a culture of love and respect. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. Ever since I got here, Draven always hit on the point of how important culture was to him.
Sure.
And when I got here, I never realized like how important culture was, but being here certainly made me realize how important it is. And I would say this culture, it's just like it feels like I have 13 brothers,
Wow.
and it's just a great feeling because even when we're not at practice or not at basketball activities with each other, like people on campus will even tell you, like, we're never alone. Like, it's always 4 or 5 basketball players walking around with each other. Like, I heard Jameer mention something about disc golf. Like, even when we disc golf, it could be 3 of us or it could almost be the whole team out there playing. So it's just we really never leave each other's side. Never really get tired of each other because even if we have problems, the team we have, we're quick to just solve them. Like, people aren't scared to confront each other and talk about issues or be vulnerable with each other. So it's just a really, like, safe space and just a safe space that all of us can really just come together, make each other better on and off the court, just being men of Bethel basketball and also being men of God. So,
Andrew, can you speak to the culture here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's high school to college is obviously a big change, and that's something that if we didn't have the culture that we do, I would have struggled a lot last year. But just buying into it, being involved, doing stuff like you said, disc golf, like outside of just basketball, where these are my best friends, and I get to do life with them for these next couple of years. So culture's obviously super important.
Andrew, let's talk about the transitioning from last year's group. You had two of Bethel all-time bests with Drew Lutz and Nathan Ertz. Their roles were so certainly different. You look at Nathan; he's in the top 20 in rebounding, top 20 in scoring. You look at Drew. Had Drew played here for 4 years, he would probably be the all-time leading scorer. Just a tremendous talent. I'm sure you learned a lot having to guard that guy in practice.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like that? And James, conversely, I want you to talk about having to compete against Nathan Ertz. Let me start with you, Andrew, and talk about having to play against Lutzy.
Yeah, no, I mean, playing against Drew, guarding him every day in practice, well, you have no choice but to get better when you chase him around all day. So, learning under him, I kind of knew going in as a freshman, like, you may not see the minutes that you want to see, but you're going to get better when you play against Drew Lutz every day. And so guarding him, learning, whatever it may be, whether it be playing in ball screen situations or, in transition. So he was obviously great for me to learn under for the first year.
James, what about Nathan Ertz? What was it like having to compete against that dude?
Nate was a tough dude to play against just because he does the stuff that a lot of people on the court don't realize that's important. Like, Nate's the one that chases after the loose ball, or he has the positioning on the offensive board to tip it out and get a second chance at the shot. And also, he can come out and give you 30 if he needs to. Playing at St. Francis against him, there's actually a time where he came out, and I heard Jameer say something about how he had 20 in the first half. Well, I think he had like 23 in the first half just against us. And our halftime game plan, instead of keeping Trey Cruz on lock, it was we have to keep Trey Cruz and Nate Ertz on lock. And that just shows you how important of a player he was to us, just because he could come into the game and the opposite team might not think he's that big of a deal, but by the time halftime comes around, they got to make adjustments for him. So,
all right, let me give you guys an open-ended question. James, let me start with you. I'm going to put you on the defensive side of the things. The Pilots are going to have a great year defensively if we can do this. What would that be?
I would just say trusting each other right now, just because a lot of people that are going to be playing this year, they might not have gotten a lot of minutes last year. So just getting used to being out there, really focusing in on our defensive keys and what we want to do on defense and how we want to play. Just getting everyone used to that and just instilling the physicality we need to have and just the aggressiveness we need to have to win in this league, that the Crossroads is just something that we must do to be able to be successful on the defensive end.
Same question, Andrew Hedrick. We're going to ask you about the offense. So the team has to be really good offensively if we can do these things.
Yeah, I think it'll obviously be different this year, not having Drew and Nate. We'll probably be a little more motion-oriented, push it a little more in transition. We talk a lot about our 3 keys: win in transition, win the first three steps, beat your guy across half court, offensive rebounding, and motion. So, those are really important for us. And in the stretch of the Crossroads League, being able to be a little more unpredictable, I think will be advantageous for us. Just multidimensional. Got a lot of guys that can score the basketball. Just trusting each other and focusing on who we are and what we can do offensively.
James, the Crossroads League, you can make the argument it's the best league in the country. Having been watching this league just kind of do what it has done over the last 25 years, it's been amazing on how, in the beginning there was 3 or 4 teams at the top, and then there would be a big gap, but now that's not the case. You've had a very unique situation. You've seen the Crossroads League from 2 different viewpoints when you were time at St. Francis, because you're looking at it differently, and then you also look at it from the Bethel perspective. So I want you to kind of give us your take on both of your stops in the Crossroads League and how you perceive the Crossroads League as a whole.
As a whole, I just see it as, I personally am biased just because it is the conference I've always been a part of. So I think it's the best conference in the league, in the nation. And so with that being said, it's just when you play a Crossroads team, you're going to get a team that's physical. You're going to get a team that plays the right way. You know that you're going to get a team that if you make a mistake, you better not make sure it's not too many mistakes, because there goes the game right there. The Crossroads League is just something that a lot of people across the nation just know about. Like, I know D1 players that have heard of the Crossroads League just because it's that impressive of a conference and within NAIA. And so I would just say Crossroads teams are the teams you don't want to see. And, it's a really good league. Records show, just because I think for – as long as I've been in college, at least, there's been at least 4 Crossroads teams in the national tournament, and sometimes even 5. And that just shows you that the teams, they come to play, they don't mess around, and that if you're not willing to come out and take the game for yourself, that they're just going to take it from you. So,
Andrew, I know you heard the stories from Coach Schaus when you were at Columbia City, how tough it was. So give us in our final question, give us your final thought on the Crossroads League.
Yeah, no, it's if you can battle in the Crossroads League and go through the gauntlet of that season, you're going to be set up to make a run in the national tournament. That's pretty much as simple as that. If you can finish top 4 or 5 in our league and compete against the Graces and Iwoos and Huntingtons and Marions, and come out on top of some of those games, that's how you prepare to be able to compete at the end in the conference tournament and then national tournament as well. So, just being able to battle through that all year. And then, find a way to play your best basketball at the right time.
All right, that's going to do it. James, keep up the great work on the weight loss and all the hard work. I know how diligent that's going to be, especially during the season, because you got to be really, really disciplined and making sure that you're all together. That's I have tremendous admiration for you for being able to do what you've been able to do. Andrew, keep plugging away. If you get a chance to talk to Matty Schaus, tell him that he's the best there is.
Yeah,
okay. That's going to do it for our guys here. Thanks again to James and to Andrew for joining us here on Bethel University Men's Basketball Media Day. I'm Paul Condry. Thanks for joining us here on Regional Radio Sports.